Welcome back to Fitness by Design, the podcast where we engineer optimal health, energy, and confidence for corporate men without having to sacrifice their career success or their family time. I'm your host, Coach Spencer, and today we are tackling something that may be holding a lot of you back, and that is burnout. So let me ask you this. Do you feel like no matter what you do, there's just never enough time in the day? You're hitting your deadlines, you're keeping up with your family, but when it comes to your own health and fitness, working out, eating better, things like that, you just have nothing left in the tank. Or maybe you're just waking up tired every single day. You start to crash at 3 p.m. in the office. And when you do finally get home, you barely have the energy to do more than just zone out on the couch watching Netflix. And every single time you do try to get back on track, every time that Monday comes around, it just feels like you're spinning your wheels. You're starting strong on Mondays, and then by the time the weekend comes around, you just throw it all away and you're completely falling off the bandwagon. Does any of this sound familiar? Because if it does, that's what burnout is. And here's the thing. It doesn't just magically fix itself. It actually gets worse, way worse. Burnout is going to start to bleed into every part of your life. Your energy, your mood, your relationships, your mood in your relationship, if you know what I mean. But here's the good news. You don't actually need to overhaul your entire life to just break free from burnout. What you actually need is just a system that works for your life, not against it. And by the end of this episode, you'll know exactly how to make some small strategic changes to rebuild that energy, start to make some progress in your health and fitness journey, and finally break free from that burnout. And all of that without having to flip your life completely upside down. So let's dive in. I want to take you back to a moment that completely stopped me in my tracks and changed the trajectory of my life forever. It was a Friday afternoon, and I had had a week that just absolutely chewed me up and spit me out. I was gassed. And I was sitting in the McDonald's drive-thru, literally just 5 minutes from my office. And I was sitting there scrolling through my emails on my phone, checking emails to see what had come in the 15 minutes since I had signed out and left the office. I hadn't even made it home yet, and I was already back at work in my head. And that was my life. I was managing a $1.5 billion hospital project. I was traveling 2 days a week for that project, and I was just trying to keep life together outside of the office. On paper, man, it looked like I was absolutely crushing it. I had the career success, I had the career growth, I had my own apartment, I was hitting the gym, I was having time to go out with my friends. But behind the scenes, I was drowning. I was exhausted, and I just wasn't seeing the results in the gym no matter how much time I actually spent there. It felt like I was just running full speed on a treadmill because I was going absolutely nowhere. And I remember just sitting in that drive-thru, it finally hit me. I wasn't just burned out at work. I was burned out in my entire life. And here's where most of us get it wrong. We think that burnout happens because we're lazy or we're unmotivated. And the reality is that it actually happens because we try to do everything all at once. So if you've ever told yourself, I don't have time to get in shape, let me ask you this. Do you really not have time? Or are you just trying to overhaul everything in your entire life? And then you find yourself crashing and burning and it feels impossible to sustain it. Because here's the truth. Again, you don't need to flip your life upside down to start making progress in your health and fitness or your life in general. What you need is just a system that actually fits into your life, something that works with you, something that works for you, not something that works against you or something that you have to jam into your schedule every day. So let me tell you about Adam. He's one of my clients. He's one of my absolute all-stars. When Adam came to me, he was juggling a full-time insurance job. He was a single dad to a teenage son playing multiple sports and constantly having games and practices. And on top of that, he was trying to start his own business. Oh yeah, and in case you didn't know, he was burning out. At one point in time, Adam had weighed up to 400 pounds, and during COVID, he lost over 100 pounds. And that sounds absolutely incredible, right? You're like, man, 100 pounds during COVID, like that's awesome. Good for Adam. But he did it because he was spending 3 to 4 hours a day working out and in the gym. And that was just something that he knew he couldn't sustain once life returned back to post-COVID normal. And by the time we had already connected, he had gained back nearly 85 pounds and he was sitting around 290 and he was just frustrated and ready to throw in the towel. So here's what we did. We just started small. We threw 3 workouts a week into his schedule. We used his basement workout equipment, so he had some bands, an adjustable dumbbell, bench, things like that. Like nothing extravagant, not a full gym setup, but we got him working out at home 3 times a week, short workouts. And we bumped up his calories. Yeah, you heard me right. I bumped his calories. Because Adam was eating like 1,200 calories, which is basically like eating like a bird. Like he was eating nothing. Like my 4-year-old nephew eats more than Adam was eating. And it was absolutely crushing his energy. So by giving him permission to eat more, he was actually able to start enjoying meals and being able to spend those meals with his son without feeling like he was cheating on his diet. And arguably the most important thing was we just started focusing on movement. We stopped doing 2-a-day cardios. We stopped doing 3 to 4 hours of working out and lifting every single day. Just moving more. Getting a few extra steps in here and there, taking a 10-minute walk there, parking a little further from the grocery store, those small things. And in 6 months together, Adam lost 30 pounds. And then on top of that, over the next year after that, so 18 months total, Adam is now over 65 pounds down working with me. He did not sacrifice one single minute with his son. He did not sacrifice his business. As a matter of fact, he ended up opening a second business. And now Adam is absolutely thriving. His true personality has come out, and it has been an astonishing thing to watch and see from somebody else's perspective. When he looks in the mirror, he's not mad at the guy looking back at him. He's proud of him. He's down over 65 pounds. He's got his own mortgage lending business. He's a co-owner in a softball and baseball academy that absolutely fills his soul. And he's in his first relationship in over 15 years. Adam didn't need an overhaul of his life. He just needed a system that worked. So if there's one thing that I want you to take away from today, it's this. Burnout is not the dead end to your life. It is a giant alarm bell. It is your body and your mind saying, hey, dude, we can't keep doing this. The solution isn't to do more, though. And that's what a lot of us corporate guys do. We feel like we're burning out and we're like, well, I just got to do more. I got to do more. I can work more hours. I can stay up later. I can drink more coffee. I can cut more calories. It's not actually about doing that. It's about doing less, but doing less strategically. Because if those things worked, drinking coffee at 4 p.m., cutting your calories to 800 calories a day, doing 3 hours of cardio, if those things worked, why are you listening to this podcast? You're shredded, you're jacked. You don't need to be listening to me. But they don't. You just need to do less of it strategically. So I'm going to give you 3 steps that you can start to do today that will start to help build momentum for you. The very first thing is to start anchoring your habits. So pick one single habit, not 10, not 20, one single habit. Make it something small and make it something that you can stick to every single day for 2 weeks. Maybe that's drinking a glass of water right after you wake up before you start drinking coffee. Maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk after lunch. Now, a really great way that you can start to anchor habits with something that you're already doing is think about something like this. When you brush your teeth in the morning, you're probably brushing your teeth, hopefully for 2 minutes, like, the Dental Association recommends. 9 out of 10 dentists recommend. And you're probably just standing there staring at yourself in the mirror. Why don't you just go pace your house? Go pace your bedroom. Go walk around. Go do something that's not staring at yourself in the mirror. Go take a walk. 2 minutes. Walk around your house. Maybe you take those 2 minutes to go downstairs and get water out of your fridge instead of out of the bathroom sink. So that by the time you're done brushing your teeth and you're back in your master bedroom, you now have a fresh glass of water that's not from the bathroom sink. You've gotten a couple steps in, and you've done nothing more than brush your teeth like you normally would. See how much more you've accomplished? When you stack that up over the course of 1 week, 2 weeks, 10 weeks, 24 weeks, 52 weeks, that adds up. Now, the second thing that I want you to do, and you'll probably hear this like a broken record, is prioritizing your protein. Now, protein for a corporate guy is very different than protein for a bodybuilder. Yes, it is still absolutely critical for us to have protein just as much as it is for them. But the difference is, for us guys having protein in the office, that's what keeps us full. That's what helps stabilize our energy during the day. And it's going to help build that muscle. So if you want to be able to fill out your dress shirts appropriately and have the energy from 9 to 5 meetings and still be able to go home and not feel like you need to stop at McDonald's because you're absolutely starving, then you need to start prioritizing protein throughout the day. You want to aim for 20 to 30 grams of protein per meal, ideally getting in 4 to 5 meals a day. And you want to think of things that are so easy for you. Think of eggs, chicken, lean ground beef, turkey, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese. Make it simple, make it easy, it makes you hit it. The last thing here is just scheduling it. If it is not in your calendar from 9 to 5, it's not happening. Let's be real. I'm the same way. If I don't have something on my calendar from 9 to 5, I'm not doing it. But then the second that you leave the office at 5 o'clock, you forget that you have a calendar. So start by blocking out those 45-minute workouts 3 times a week. Treat it exactly like you would an appointment in the office. Exactly like you would a meeting with your boss. It becomes non-negotiable. You start to do it because it's in your calendar. It's something that you have to do. You basically just take that calendar from 9 to 5 and you move it from 7 to 7. Because at the end of the day, man, burnout does not have to define you. If anything, it should be a friggin' wake-up call. And I can tell you right now, if Adam can lose 65 pounds raising his son and running his businesses, there's nothing stopping you from just taking the first step. You don't need to overhaul your entire life or dive into another impossible plan that you found on the internet or from ChatGPT or wherever. You just need a system that actually works for you and your corporate life. So here's what I want you to do next. Click the link in the show notes and schedule the free performance optimization call with me. Now, this is not some crazy high-pressure sales call. Fuck, man, it's not even a sales call at all. It's just a call for us to get to know each other a little bit, dive into some of your goals and roadblocks that you're facing, and ultimately help you build a customized game plan so that you can start to see results as soon as the day after a call. And this is whether or not we work together. The link is in the show notes, so schedule at your own free will. Otherwise, if you'd rather keep it a little bit more casual, just shoot me a DM on Instagram at Spencer H. Gallo with the word design, and I'll send you some of my best free resources to help get you started. Because at the end of the day, your health doesn't have to compete with your success. It can fuel it in and out of the office. So thanks for tuning in to another episode of Fitness by Design, and I'll see you next time.